Sufi Asman Shah. You were born a Hindu, right?
Yeah.
And now you're a Sufi. And what is Sufism to you?
Question is very beautiful. You strike the right thing that need to be nailed. You said you were born a Hindu. First I'll start on that. Nobody is born a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian for that sake, or a Buddhist. We all are born like human beings. It is the family, the society, the upbringing that gives us that ism associated with different religions. I was born a human being, but yes, I had been brought up in a Hindu family because my parents considered me to be a Hindu just like them when I'll grow up. But later on, walking through the walk of life, it became different. And I got entitled into Sufism. The entry is a long story. I will not delve in this video on that, but you can proceed on with the question that what is Sufism to you? There is no one single line or a book that you can just define Sufism, because it is not a philosophy, it is not something scriptural, or it is not something, a doctrine to be followed.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lifestyle. It's just like breathing. You cannot maintain a constant breathing technique for you. It just comes by itself, depending on what sort of aura you are in or what sort of mental condition you are in. You are angry, you'll breathe very highly, shallow breathing. You are in love, you'll breathe something serene. It goes like that. So Sufism cannot be just contained in a documented form. It is something very alive. And to live the alive, you have to start up with someone who is alive. And alive, by alive, I do not simply mean breathing. It means someone who has gone to the deep roots of life, who have seen what is the reality of existence, how his place is justified in the universe, who has known his roots, and the basic question has been answered to the very depth, who am I? For me, that is Sufi.
Okay. And why do you think, that lots of people are thinking or associating Sufism into Islam?
Yes. There is a basic problem with the human being. When he cannot see the reality or cannot find the reality, he tries to associate it with something. Like one cannot find the anger within himself, that why he is angry. So he'll associate it on the ongoing conditions, that this and this thing happened, that's why I become angry. He will not see what has changed inside of him that made him angry. In the same way, Sufism has been conspired in a number of ways by associating it to different religions, and in particular Islam. I have a very simple question for everyone who says this thing or supports this ideology, that the Sufism originally begins with Islam, or a Sufi has to be in particular be an Islamist, or for that sake Muslim, like we say. If the Sufis were satisfied, were being born as a Muslim or brought up as a Muslim, then for what did they become Sufis? If I put it into the words of the very famous Sufi of his times, Sarkar Amir Khusro, who was the famous disciple of Sarkar Nizamuddin Aulia of Delhi, he has written in his poetry that I am a lover and I don't need to be a Muslim for that. It is written by a Sufi. So how can we support the major hypnosis that's going on to the world which says that Sufis is something to be related to Islam? On what behalf? While a Sufi himself is saying that I don't need to be a Muslim for being a Sufi. Okay? Same goes like this with the very famous Sufi of Panipat, Haryana, Sarkar Bhu Ali Shah Kalandar. He has written in one of his poetries, मैं मस्त शराबी हूँ, मैं मस्त शराबी वो नमाज पढ़ता हूँ जिसमें न कयाम न रुकू न सजदा. Means I am that intoxicated drunkard who performs a salat, that means the worship of the Muslims, that do not carry a ruku or a sajda, means the different positions that a person do while doing the namaz. So I hope that clarifies the question very much.
Would you agree if I say that the thing that comes for association of Sufi into Islam is the language? Like most Sufis in the beginning, in the third busy era, that it comes from the Arab worlds. Does it carries the language and the culture of people?
Yes, you can say that, because like the message of Islam was brought up by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he brought the message in Arabic because he was born in that country and he has to give the message to the people who were around him at that time. And the same thing happened to Yeshua. When he brought the message, he delivered it in English. Same thing is with Krishna. Where he was one, he has to deliver the message of God into Sanskrit. So yes, you can say that Sufis are mostly related to being Islamist or related particularly to Islam just because of the language factor. You can say that. Because but there arises another possibility for that. That so many people became Sufis, that meant that in the traditional rational Islam, they were not getting the glimpse of God. That is why they turned to be Sufis. Just their message was to be delivered to the people then and there. That is why they choose the language prevalent in those areas. You can say that.
Thank you.